This episode was brought to you by Munch Studio, helping you turn your ideas into content that's already done.
Put your best self forward and position yourself so that brands know who you are, they know your value, and you just make it an easy yes for them to say, yes, we want to work with this creator. I prefer a long-term partnership when I can. So there's a lot of things that you can do as a creator to make those long-term partnerships really strong. And I think the first one is communication.
Reputation matters, right?
Yes.
In that regard. And you want to be a creator that they can depend on and that they know they're going to get quality output from, and it's going to be on time. I mean, it's basics.
Yeah. But you want your stats to jump out. You want your visuals to pop. That's really going to catch people's attention. And with the numbers, you can definitely go deeper than follower count.
Welcome to the She Believes She Could podcast. I'm your host, Allison Walsh. Since 2020, this show has inspired thousands of women around the world to believe in themselves and take bold action toward the lives they're meant to live. Each episode brings you powerful conversations and practical strategies to strengthen your mindset, build your confidence and brand, grow your business, and protect your well-being, all while spotlighting stories of women who are making a difference and changing the world in their own way. I am so glad you're here. Now let's get to work. We are so excited to be welcoming back Sara Stefanik on the show today. She has been on before talking all things Mom 2.0, but we are now digging in around positioning yourself for partnerships. This is one of the most requested areas of focus that I hear on a regular basis from this community, both on Instagram, on my sessions with my clients, in our community. And so I had to bring Sara back on today. We also just recorded a mini course for you, so stay tuned to hear all of those details. And you all are very blessed because she is going to be joining us live and in person May 7th at our She Believes She Could Summit, the Authority Accelerator. So if you haven't met her before, you're going to absolutely love her. Please welcome back to the show, Sara Stefanik. Well, Sara, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much. So excited to be here.
I am thrilled that you're back. I mean, we connected, about a year ago?
Almost a year.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like fast friends. And it's just been so fun to get to know you and work on things, and then brought you into the studio today. So yes, we're recording a podcast episode, but more importantly, we just recorded a course for our community, and you're coming back to the studio for our summit in May. So thank you so much for just loving on our community.
Oh my gosh, it has been an absolute honor. I've had the best time working with you, and I love this community and that I'm able to bring my knowledge about something that I love talking about. So,
well, we love you. So, because everybody is asking me all of the time, how do I navigate brand partnerships, and how do I monetize my brand, and how do I do the things that actually get me paid for the work that I'm doing? So I want to get into a little bit of that today, but tell the audience a little bit more about you and what you do and all of this knowledge that you've accumulated over the years that you have brought all of your wisdom to us. So give us a little bit more detail.
Yeah. So I oversee influencer partnerships for Everyday Health's pregnancy and parenting brands. That includes Baby Center and Mom 2.0. And I work with creators to align them with brands. So I'm working on brand deals all day, every day.
Yeah. So you really have the inside scoop on just the entire industry too. What's changed, what you need to be doing, what you shouldn't be doing. And for the audience, Sara's literally an expert in this space. And so I even sent her over my brand kit. I was like, tear this apart. Please, where am I missing opportunities? And you just have such a keen eye to be able to spot it and make suggestions that are only going to help. And so that was something that I was like, oh my gosh, you just did this for me. You need to help us, all of us in our community. So, but let's talk about just a few tips, right? Because we have so many individuals in this space and in our community that are looking to monetize, right? Maybe they're earlier stage creators and they're trying to figure out how to do it right from the beginning. Maybe they've been in the game for a little bit and they're like, I should be making more. Or maybe they're just curious. Right? Where do I even start? So can we just talk through a little bit of that for them today?
Yeah, definitely. And I see that all the time from creators that are just starting out and they really aren't familiar with rates or how to talk to brands, to people that are pretty established, but they're still, not seeing the behind the scenes that happens with clients. And I work with a lot of different brands. So I've seen many different takes on how they choose to work with creators, what they're looking for. And so I think it's really helpful to be able to share that information and put your best self forward and position yourself so that brands know who you are, they know your value, and you just make it an easy yes for them to say, yes, we want to work with this creator.
Yeah. And I mean, I think there's sometimes creators don't realize that you don't have to always have new brands coming into your world too. Like these can turn into long-term partnerships. I feel very, very fortunate that we've had long-term partners on this show. I mean, Advent Health for Women has been amazing for us, Be a Mind Leader, all of these organizations, initiatives, and then even like digital platforms, the things that we use all the time that we've been able to partner and collaborate on. But these are long-term relationships because we worked hard to develop the relationship. So can we talk about that too, that it doesn't have to just always be the hamster wheel of new. It can be long-term relationships that are really mutually beneficial.
Yeah, definitely. And clients want that. I prefer a long-term partnership when I can, because then I know I'm going to get a certain type of value with working with this creator. It's easy. They're already set up in our system. And so there's a lot of things that you can do as a creator to make those long-term partnerships really strong. And I think the first one is communication. That's going to go a long way for you. And I build really close relationships with the creators that I work with. And we start to kind of feel like family, honestly, because they're so passionate about what they do. I know how much they care about the brands they're working with. And that just really comes across in their communication. So we keep it really personal, honestly. And then another one is deadlines. Meet your deadlines.
Oh my gosh.
But things happen. So if things come up, definitely just communicate it. Most brands are flexible. They can, work around things that come up. But as long as you're communicating things, you'd be surprised how many people forget to communicate things. And when things fall through the cracks, like that's less likely to be a long-term partnership. So those are two of the things that I always recommend.
Yeah, reputation matters, right?
Yes.
In that regard. And you want to be a creator that they can depend on and that they know they're going to get quality output from and it's going to be on time. I mean, it's basics. So if you're a business owner or content creator, you already know how hard it is to stay consistent on social media. Coming up with ideas, writing captions, designing posts, and actually getting them scheduled. That's why I've been using Munch Studio. It doesn't just repurpose your content, it creates complete, ready-to-use posts for you. Graphics, captions, formatting, even scheduling. So instead of wondering what to post, your content is already done, giving you back the time and energy that you need to focus on building your business and brand. Check out the link in the show notes for more information. The right room changes everything. Your clarity, your confidence, your revenue trajectory.
The She Believes She Could Summit is a curated, high-impact gathering for women building intentional, scalable platforms.
This isn't a massive conference. It is a strategic room, a room where you finally articulate what you've been trying to say, where you refine your positioning, where you build beyond the algorithm into ownership and sustainable growth.
One powerful, focused day in Orlando. Smart strategy, curated conversations, real momentum.
And for those that are ready to move from clarity to execution, there's a VIP day, the Visibility Lab. It's an intimate guided studio experience where you turn your refined message into professional, high-level brand assets, filmed, produced, and ready to elevate your platform immediately.
Day 1 is clarity. VIP day is execution. May 7th in Orlando.
If you've been craving proximity, strategy, and expansion, this is your room.
Yeah.
Do those things for sure. And then as you think about just some of the maybe tips for the audience around, just even positioning themselves, like what should they be including on their media kit or when they're reaching out to brands? Because that can be, you start pitching yourself for the first time. That's like intimidating to begin with. And you want to make sure that at least you're putting your best foot forward. So what are the things that they definitely need to be doing?
Yeah. One of the most important things is keeping your media kit really streamlined, but also like eye-catching and not a lot of text, because I think people are more and more likely to skim through text. They want to know your story, and that's super important. So do have your story, but you want your stats to jump out. You want your visuals to pop. That's really going to catch people's attention. And with the numbers, you can definitely go deeper than follower count. Like if your following is huge, absolutely lead with that. But there's so many other stats that you can include that are going to show engagement. And those are the two main factors that brands are looking for: following and then engagement. And then there's a bunch of different things that go into that, but those are important things to have. And then a testimonial too. Testimonials are very important. Don't be afraid to ask for those in different places. I love to see those. And also, if you can include a concept, it doesn't have to be in your media kit per se, unless you're doing like the long form one. But when you outreach to brands, they want to know how you're going to fit into their brand. So it's great to have a strong story and a strong concept.
Yeah, I love that. And that was something that you had called out in mine. And it was just, there was a lot of text, there were screenshots of data. And you said, like, let's trim down the text and let's highlight the data, like make it visually appealing so that it pops out, because it's good stuff. But, and I think that certain brands might ask for validation in other ways, right? Like they might want a screenshot of your actual like Instagram engagement, or they might want, like in our case with the podcast, like sometimes we do need to be able to show, the actual downloads in the last month. And that's when you can kind of get, less pretty in your, in your deliverables, because it is what it is.
Yeah.
But when you have creative control over it, like make it look nice. So those were a couple of things that you had told me, and we made those adjustments, and it's just so much nicer to look at now. So love that. Yeah, no, me too. And so I'm excited because you're going to be at our summit. So we have the Authority Accelerator happening May 7th and 8th in Orlando. You're speaking on the 7th, and you're going to really be pouring into our audience that's going to be there. So we're going to go deeper into everything that you just talked about. What are you looking forward to most for those that experience?
It's just so great to get that in-person experience and connect face-to-face. And when we're talking about this topic, there's so many things to talk about. Like I could go on, and there's so many unique questions to everyone. So I think being able to be in the room with everyone, hear questions, to provide tips that, people aren't seeing, because there's so much going on behind the scenes all the time. It's always changing. I'm still learning new things every day. So I'm really excited to bring that to your community.
Yeah, it's going to be really special. So if you're coming to the summit and you're listening right now, or if you want to come to the summit, a couple things. Like I would suggest that if you have a media kit, you bring it. And if you don't have a media kit, don't let that stop you from coming, right? Like we're going to do the work in the summit. We're going to, be giving you brand playbooks for you to start to really map out some of these things, so you really understand the nuances, especially if you're newer to the creator game. There are different things that you have to learn: UGC content versus affiliate relationships, and all of these other terminologies that are just important for you to have the knowledge so that you can operate effectively in this space. And then Sarah will give you her feedback while she's here. So it's such a treat. And then we also spent today focusing on building out content. So Position for Partnerships is a mini course that we're now making available for our community. If you're in the She Believes She Could network, don't worry. It is part of your value add of being a wonderful member of our podcast network. But for those that are potentially looking for something like this, talk to them about what they're going to learn in the mini course.
Yeah, so the mini course is really going to break down every part of what you need to know about positioning yourself for brands. So talking about how to put your media kit together, what brands are looking for exactly, how to pitch yourself. And there's so many details into this. Like we get into different levels of influencer versus UGC, how to approach rates,
all of
long-term
it.
partnerships.
Yeah, no, I love it. The amount of content that's packed in our mini course, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, don't let the word mini deter you. But it's also just, it's heavy hitter, right? Like you went through like exactly what you need to do. And I know I think, time is my most precious commodity at this point. So I appreciate the fact that I can get a lot out of each module that you recorded today. So if you're interested, we're going to link everything in the show notes. But we are are very excited for you to be involved in so many different ways. And certainly if women are listening and they're like, wow, I just need Sara in my life, right? Like, where should they find you? How can they connect with you? Of course, we'll link everything below, but you've offered so much value to me personally and now to our community, but I know that, you want to share your wisdom with others too. So what should they do?
Absolutely. Everyone can find me at sarastefanik.com. Sara Stefanik is also my Instagram handle. I'm very active there. Slide into my DMs, send me an email. I'm very reachable. I am out there.
Awesome. Well, we are so grateful that you jumped on today with us, but at the end of our recording session, and so excited about May 7th when you'll be live with everybody. So make sure that you grab your tickets. We'll link them in the show notes. Would love to have you in the room. Sara is going to be there along with so many of our amazing speakers. We have a very full agenda for that day, but that's intentional because we want to make sure that everybody's walking away with exactly what they need to level up their brand. So everything from how to present yourself, how to speak about yourself, to how do you craft that perfect pitch for your partners, and how do you represent yourself on social media, and then how, even if you're interested in becoming an author, how to navigate that process. So we've got everybody in the room. I always say, like, surround yourself with a circle of women that are going to pour into you and make you your best possible version of yourself. And that is how we curated this room, and we're very excited about that. We have a few more seats in the Visibility Lab available. So if you want to take advantage of day 2, that is on May 8th, and we are going to ensure that you have your strategy session beforehand. We have a plan for your content creation day, and that you are going to get brand assets created for you on that Friday. So brand photography, short form content, long form content, a landscape horizontal video for your website, like all the things that you need will be created in one day in our gorgeous studio at Hi Hello Lab. So you don't want to miss it. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. I'm like, oh my goodness. And we have so many fun things planned. And I just am so grateful to be able to create such an experience for everybody that will be there. So thank you again for being you. Thank you for being here. And as always, everyone, I believe in you 1000%. And my goal is that you do too. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. I am so grateful that you are here. As always, please continue the conversation over on Instagram at Allison Walsh, and make sure that you check out all of our freebies. If you scan the QR code, if you're watching on YouTube, or check out the link in the show notes, it will take you to a page full of resources and trainings and things to help you go farther, faster. And that is always my intention, is to help you continue to grow. And as always, I believe in you 1000%. And my goal is that you do too. Take care, beautiful. I'll see you next time.